Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Car Reviews podcast here with CollectorCarCanada.ca. I'll remind you before we talk about this week's cars to subscribe to the podcast. That way you'll be the first on your block to know that we've got an episode to see and know what cars we have on offer. Throw it a like, doesn't cost you a thing. It helps us out and helps get the podcast into before the eyes of the people who want to see it. And share it around, as I like to say, help a brother or sister out. So today, or this week rather, here I am standing in front of the St. Lawrence River. One great fringe benefit of my job is I get to zoom all around to run these car reviews. Always lots of fun. So as I say, I'm in front of the St. Lawrence River, and that's the United States on the other side of the river. On to today's cars. So this week we have lot 259. It's a 1999 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am convertible 6-speed. So it's black on, would you believe GM called the interior color very dark gray. So black on dark gray. And as I say, with the stick, it's got a 5.7 liter LS1 engine. It's got the WS6 package, which gives it a little more oomph under the hood, and an upgraded suspension package from the other Trans Ams, which of course are a step up from the conventional Firebird back in 1999. So fourth generation Firebird body, and as I say, it's a WS6 Trans Am with the 6-speed power top on the convertible. The other car we're bringing to you in this episode, it's a fun one. It's a kid car. It's modeled after a 1927 Bugatti Type 35B. So the Bugatti Type 35 was a 20s race car, very well regarded and reputed at the time, and still very well loved by the upper crust of car collectors. If you get a bored moment, ask Dr. Google about the value of an authentic 1927 Bugatti Type 35B. This car, though, it was built as a kit in 1980. It's got a fiberglass body, and it was built on the frame of a 1967 Beetle, and it's got the powertrain of that 1967 Beetle. So a 1600cc air-cooled engine in the rear, and that's getting power to the rear wheels via a 4-speed manual. Dual exhaust. When the car's running, it really sounds great. I really like the sound of it. But the interesting thing about this car being rear engined and not the original Bugatti is that quite an impressive design piece on the front end of the 27 Bugatti Type 35B was the grille, really imposing grille. So on this car, it doesn't serve the purpose of a conventional grille. It's really just for show. And the other interesting thing about this being the kit car is that probably the signature hallmark design item on this Type 35 back in the 20s was the boat tail in the rear. So as well as being a really neat design piece on this kit car, I told you it's rear engined. It doubles as the engine cover. So it's bolted on by 6 conventional screws, but to get at the engine, you need to pull out your screwdriver to pull off that boat tail. We've got pictures of it on the detailed listing with the boat tail on and off. So that one is lot 258 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. So here they come, 259, the 1999 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am WS6 convertible with the 6-speed manual. And as well after that, 1927 Bugatti Type 35B replica car with the 1967 VW Beetle powertrain with a 4-speed manual transmission. Enough talk from me by the river's edge. Here come the cars. Thank you for watching. Hi everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Today we have a 1999 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, and this comes with the WS6 package. So a 5.7 liter V8 engine, LS1 engine, good for 320 horsepower. It's equipped with a 6-speed manual, so manual transmission, 6 speeds, and all that power heads back to the rear wheels. You can see the chromey 5-spoke rims, original from 1999. I'll try to show you when we walk around the car, but you can pick out the WS6 package by the center caps. There's also a WS6 badge on the rear deck by the tail lights. So let's do our normal thing. I'll give the car a start and we'll listen to it. I don't think I mentioned this is going to be lot 259 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So check our detailed listing. About 200 photos, about a dozen videos, our normal paragraph form listing, and of course this review video on lot 259 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So on with the startup. Okay, easy start, no trouble at all. I'll mention that the car is now in the 159s for mileage. I should say kilometrage. So Canadian market car, I see a speedometer topping out at 250 kilometers per hour. And the current reading on the odometer is 159,532. So this car is going to its new owner at under 160,000 kilometers. So I'll head over to where the camera is that you're seeing me from, and we'll take a closer look at the engine compartment and take a listen to the exhaust. I'll release that hood. So we're in a rural area just outside of Carleton Place, Ontario. It's known as Innisville, not to be confused with Innisfil up by Barrie. And I only mention that because, we're in somewhat tight quarters. All the neighbors seem to be happy and getting along with each other. But a little bit tight for shooting the video, which I think we're going to persevere through. So a good look at the LS1 V8. Again, 5.7 liters, good for 320 horsepower out of the factory. So let's get in close and listen to those bells. So you can see this Ram Air decal. That relates to the air intake. It's a functional Ram Air hood, and that's where the air comes in to feed that 5.7 liter. We'll get a good look at it from the outside when the hood gets closed. One other detail I noticed is that despite the car being, 1999, that make it 26 years old, the owner has stayed true to original, and he's running an AC Delco battery. But yeah, a tidy compartment, not messed with, not modified. The current owners had the car 20 years, and he bought from the original owner down in Windsor, Ontario. One more look at those belts and a listen. And let's head on back to the rear so we can have a listen to that exhaust. While I'm thinking of it, the 5-spoke chrome wheel in place, and there's that WS6 emblem on the wheel. And while I'm thinking of it, here it is below the right side tail light. So the WS6 comes with a little more juice in the engine, as well as a slightly different suspension components for better handling than the base Trans Am. So let's get a listen to that exhaust. Product, you're probably noting those exhaust pipes do not look stock. Exhaust has been upgraded to a stainless steel boreless system. So I think we're done with the engine running. I'm gonna shut her down, and I'll close that hood, and we'll take a look at this Ram Air intake system. So you can see the air travels in through here, and it'll be fed into this part of the engine. So here's the snout of the Ram Air system. Either side of it has that Ram Air logo. So we've got a black finish on what GM calls very dark gray leather interior. And I'm not going to demonstrate them on this CR video, car review video, but we do show the Headlights in the up position on the detailed listing. Again, lot 258 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So either side has 2 lights, as well as that round opening just this side of the license plate is a set of fog lights. And I'll make my way to the wheel closest the driver. The owner's got the car outfitted in a set of Uniroyal Tire Paw tires. I see that they're 275/40 ZR17 all the way around, and they're W rated for speed rating. 4-wheel disc brakes, anti-lock system, and there's a look at the caliper exposed through the 5-spoke wheel. And there's a bit of a look down the side of the car. You'll note a Trans Am emblem below that rub strip, just to differentiate it from the stock Firebirds. Again, this is more than a stock Trans Am too, with the WS6 package. Here's a look at the unspoiled VIN. You'll find that, of course, on our detailed listing. Working our way around. It's a matching set of 4 tires, the Uniroyal Tire Paws, again, W rated at 275/40 ZR17 all the way around with a W rating. We've got the top down on this convertible right now, and we do show it in operation, both up and down on the detailed listing by video. And right now you'll see that we have this, I'll call it a parade boot. It's a 3-piece plastic system that just sort of fits into place without too much trouble at all. So here's a look at the rear of the car. A big spoiler with that 3rd brake light in the center of the spoiler. That WS6 emblem again below the right tail light, and the Trans Am emblem in the center over the Pontiac embossed bumper cover. Good look at those 4 Borla pipes. So dual exhaust with 4 exits. Working our way around. Let's take a close look at those wheels. I didn't check closely for a curb rash, but I'd like to do that for you. Driver's front, I don't see any curb rash. Driver's rear, again, the wheel looks good. While we were doing our photos earlier, I remarked to the owner that the glass looked original. I saw the same Easy Cool emblem on all 4 panes, and he said, well, it's all original. I don't think it's quite all original, what with that exhaust, but certainly the original wheels. And on this one, I do note a bit of curb rash here. You can see that on the picture. And the Tiger Paw W rated up front on the passenger side. A slight bit there as well, but there's a good look at the wheels. Now this car's been cleaned recently, but I guess it's a danger of living rurally with the dirt road just off the highway here. We're just off Highway 7, and so it's acquired a little bit of dust since its last wash earlier in the week. But there's a good look, sort of 1/4 from the passenger side. And a straight on look. Get a better look at those round fog lights on either side of the license plate, and then the pop-ups on either side of the ram air intake system. We'll move on to the inside now. So again, GM calls this interior dark gray leather, and so it's somewhat a compliment. It's not a direct match to the black, but pretty subdued, pretty understated look. This owner's been driving with the top down. There's a bit of dust on the interior. Danger of driving, a hazard, I suppose, of having a convertible and enjoying it. But we've got that 250 km/h speedometer, centrally mounted with a tachometer maxing out at 7,000 and 6,000 red line to its left. Farther to the left, we've got a coolant temp gauge and an oil temp gauge. Over on the right, an amp meter, or sorry, a voltmeter rather, and the fuel gauge. Again, the odometer reads under 160,000. It's digital and 6 digits. So we don't have the key in the ignition right now. It's not lit up, but you can check our detailed listing for lot 258 to take a look. Over here we've got controls for the lights. The bottom sort of residential light switch looking thing on its side is for the fogs, and that yellow button is for the rear trunk release. Full power group as you'd expect on a WS6. Power windows, power locks, power mirrors, all demonstrated by video on our detailed listing. And one thing that is not stock here is there's a JVC in-dash CD player with AM FM radio. Air conditioning, we did check the air conditioning. It was blowing cold when we shot photos and videos earlier. There's a good look at the 6-speed shifter. The shift patterns indicated right there. The traction control switch on the right, and the switch on the left is for the power top. There's a cigar lighter as well as an accessory 12-volt outlet here. This owner says he's going to take the change in the ashtray before he leaves, but I wanted to show you that the ashtray is nice and clean. And a cup holder here in the center. Good look at the passenger door. You can see 2 speakers sort of at the front of the door, as well as the power window and power lock controls. SRS for supplemental restraint system. So the car's got airbags for both of the front occupants. And we'll take a look at the rear seat. Not a huge rear seat as you'd expect. Not sure if this power seat goes out. Oh yeah, the power seat goes without the key in. There's a set of mats back here for the 2 occupants in the rear, and kind of more of a bucket seat style. 1 piece for the backrests, and the seats are individualized, but not bad space for the rear in this 2+2 convertible, and a cup holder for each of the rear occupants. There are some personal effects in the trunk, so I'm not going to open it up right now, but we do have photos of it in our detailed listing for lot 258. So here's a good look from the rear of the black on very dark gray WS6 Trans Am convertible with 6-speed transmission. Working our way around. A well-kept car. At 160K, I think an LS1 is built for a lot longer than that, and it's healthy. Certainly, you can take a look at the driving videos we shot earlier today. We put those on the detailed listing. There's also a startup video, so you can hear the engine both at idle and under load. So that about wraps up our tour. I think we'll move now to some closing thoughts. So with the spoiler and the honeycomb style pattern tail lights, and well, you don't see them right now, but the cover for the parade boot for the covers the convertible top, and that Borla exhaust. I kind of like the rear of this Trans Am WS6, so we decided to shoot the closing thoughts from back here. So again, this one is a 1999 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am convertible with a 6-speed manual transmission in the WS6 form. So again, that 5.7 liter LS1 in the WS6 was good for 320 horsepower as a factory rating, and that 6-speed manual gets the power to the rear wheels only. And I think that'll about do it for this black on very dark gray Trans Am WS6. Again, it's a 99, and it's going to its new owner with under 160,000 kilometers. Please take a look at our detailed listing again at lot 259, and you'll find lots more information there. Detailed paragraph form write-up, about 200 photos, I haven't counted them up just yet, and about 10 videos as well as a Carfax report and a lot of further information. Please do take a look. So I thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car. Hi everyone, and welcome to another interesting car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. You can see we have a unique piece today. It is a replica of a 1927 Bugatti Type 35. Plug that one into Dr. Google and you can see the original number is worth quite a tidy sum. We do not claim this to be an authentic 1927 Bugatti Type 35. It is in fact a replica car, and it's built on the frame of a 1967 Beetle, so Volkswagen Beetle. In our detailed listing for lot 258, you'll see videos of the car both in motion, so the engine under load, as well as a startup, idle, and exhaust video. So you're going to hear that familiar sound of the VW Beetle powertrain, the original Beetle, of course, not the new Beetle that was front engine and front drive in the 2000s. I'm talking about the one that was available in Canada through 1979 as a new car and was available much beyond that in other parts of the world. I think Volkswagen, the people's car, I think that's what Volkswagen is in English translated from German. So this car, it's owned by the same family 39 years, so since 1986, by the patriarch of a family. And he bought it 6 years after the build was finished in 1980 from the builder and original owner of it in its current form. We do have the registration for the car. It is registered as a 1967 Volkswagen Beetle. We're not going to do a start in this video. As I say, in our detailed listing for lot 258, there is a startup video with the engine idling, and we got a sound of the exhaust. The engine is in the rear here, as you might expect for original VW powertrain. And we also have shots of it driving around the yard where I'm sitting right now, or I guess kneeling. We're in the backyard of a rural home. I think you can see the corner of the home in the picture. You'll see it in the background throughout the video, perhaps. But the car is not registered. The car is insured, and there is a bushing up front. I'll zoom in on it. That the current owner, well, it's the children of the original patriarch owner I mentioned. He's not able to get a bolt free to install that bushing. He does not claim to be a mechanic. He has the part. He's going to install it. So between it not being registered, us being on country roads where you don't do 40 kilometers an hour, and this bushing not being installed, we don't have driving video other than the car zooming around in the yard. We're not going to do a startup portion of this video because although the battery was purchased in 2023, it's a diehard. I might show you where it's housed, only for the sake of showing you where the battery goes. The sellers decided a bird in hand's worth two in the bush. He's just going to bring it back and replace it. So the car is going to go to its new owner with a brand new battery. So again, this one is lot 258 on collectorcarcanada.ca. It's a replica of a 1927 Bugatti Type 35 with 1967 Volkswagen Beetle running gear. So I'll grab the camera and we'll do an external walk around, take a look at the interior and get to the details. All right, so focusing in on what for me is probably the most dramatic part of the presentation of this replica of a 1927 Bugatti Type 35 is this grille. So of course, being that this is on a Volkswagen with running gear by a Volkswagen Beetle, the engine is in the rear. So that's a faux grille because we have an air-cooled engine, as you'd expect. In case the picture makes the car look a little crooked, it's sitting on a grade here. So it's descending from the car's left to the car's right. So in our screen, right to left. So if I tilt the camera, maybe it looks a little flatter, but that's the reason it looks tilted. So beginning our little walk around, you can see all of the steering components and suspension up front are exposed and painted mostly body color. You can see this shock though that's exposed and not painted. Looks like a healthy strut. You can see over on the inside of that passenger's front wheel that it's equipped with drum brakes all around. So there's a good look at the drum and it's painted body color as well. I don't think I have a fancy name for this color. It's blue with a darker, or I guess I'll call it turquoise with a darker blue stripe on either side of it. I'll show you the other side as we get around the car. Two big headlights up front and then a couple of driving lights, more centrally located. Indicators on either side. And here's a better look at that suspension and a good look at the driver's side front drum brake. The car has not been driven a lot under current ownership. The owners of the car, as I say, I'm working with the son and daughter of that patriarch owner who's still living but no longer driving. They tell me that the odometer was installed in the car in 1980. And I take them at their word. The odometer reads under 2,000 miles. It might be kilometers, I'm not sure which, but either way, very, very low mileage. They told me that their father drove it a tiny little bit, but he mostly liked looking at it and tinkering with it a little bit. So you might be concerned that that it has suffered from neglect. Not the case. I haven't looked at these yet. We just did our photos and videos earlier today, and they tell me that they're going to provide those to me this evening. So if and when we get those, we'll pop them up on our detailed listing for lot 258, and you'll be able to review those. One thing that's you can't help but notice is that it's got a recent set of Bridgestone Ecopia ER422 tires. I remember they were 205s and they are 15-inch rim. Maybe at another tire I'll be able to see that measurement. I'll give it to you exactly. It is a, quote, square setup. In other words, same size at all four corners. And when this set of tires was purchased, I noticed a 2020 date code. I suspect they were installed a couple of years after that. But the tires are 5 years old, super low mileage on them. But what I was getting to was that they replaced all 5 tires. So there's a tire mounted on the body on the passenger side. I'll show it to you when we get to it. But it's a matching Bridgestone Ecopia EP422 Plus. I do see the date code of 2020, 33rd week of 2020. Oh, and there's the size. We've got 205, 60, R15 with an H speed rating, you can see there. Same at all 4 corners, as well as the spare. I've already checked that out. So working our way around the car, I would say the paint is presentable, but I wouldn't consider it lustrous. This has not been stored indoors at all times since it was built in around 1980. So it's presentable. I don't see any rust, and that is because we have a fiberglass body, which would also account for the paint not being super shiny, being the way that paint mixes with the fiberglass. I do notice the antenna here, manual, it's operable here. And we did notice, we did take a look at the radio. We tested it, it powers up, but we're out in the country here. We didn't really try to get a station, but we did hear static. So we know it powers up. We're not sure about how well it can be tuned. One side mirror, and you can see that here on the driver's side. There's a bit of pitting on the chrome arm of the mirror, and there's the mirror itself. I'll stay away from the interior for now. Focus on the exterior right now. So the fenders, I do note a bit of rust on these metal fenders. Surface only, just a hint of it. A good 10-footer, you wouldn't see it from 10 feet away, but I've got the camera about 4 inches from the fender and we can see it for us. I do see a few items like this plastic piece, this little line here, brake line, and it has been painted and some of the paint has started to chip away with age. Here's a good look at the Bridgestone Ecopia, I think it was EP422, 205, 60, R15 with the H speed rating. Working our way back. Right now, as I said earlier, we're having trouble with the battery, and the battery is disconnected. When we had it connected, I noted that the tail light we're looking at right now stayed illuminated. And the sellers didn't deny that. They're not quite sure what's up with that. So something to take a look at for the new owner. And this license plate, I'm not sure if that's an authentic Ontario 1927 license plate or not, but certainly it is for decorative purposes only. There's a standard set of personalized plates on the car. And I note the font on the personalized plate is not the current font used in Ontario. It goes back some time. And that would indicate that the personalized plates have been in place for a while. I'm not going to show it in this video. We show it certainly in our detailed listing, but you can see the fasteners here. This is where the engine lives. So to get at the engine, this boat tail piece here needs to be removed. Standard screwdriver. I saw it happen. Looks like there are 6 fasteners that need to be loosened for that that boat tail cover to come off to get at the engine. And when it was off, it looked like a typical Beetle engine. This one is 1600 cc's with its origins, as I say, in 1967. There's a 2-exit exhaust with the chrome tips. It really does sound good and healthy. I encourage you to take a look at the 2 videos. One of the car driving, the 2 videos of when the engine is running, that is. One of the car driving around this yard and one of it at startup. As you might have guessed, the startup video, we had booster cables attached to the car because we weren't lucky with the battery this morning. More evidence of how new these tires are. The labels haven't even been worn off, so they've been driven a tiny bit since they were installed. Again, date coded 2020. Estimate they were installed 2022, but not many miles if those labels are still there. Another good look at a tail light, this one on the passenger side, and this is just a reflector, not wired for electricity. Bridgestone Ecopia EP422, passenger side rear, with the knockoff looks in the center of the hub. You can see that it's a 4-bolt pattern on these white wheels, which also show hints of surface rust. Maybe a little bit here at the valve stem. No curb rash though. And then there's this same line that we showed you on the other side. There's a bit of paint on there as well. And here's the spare that was purchased at the same time as the 4 tires that are installed on the car. A neat sort of nod to 1927 with the leather strapping, keeping the spare tire fastened to the car. Working our way forward. Now this is this venting is faux venting certainly, and it's a nod to the styling of the 27 Bugatti Type 35. Not functional on this car, as I say. For one, it's fiberglass, and the engine's in the rear, so no cooling needed up front here. And there's a good look at the Bridgestone Ecopia EP422 in the front passenger. Oh, it's EP422 Plus. What do you think of that? So 205, 60, R15 with the H speed rating. I wanted to get to this too. So here's a strap that matches the one for the spare tire. You can see sort of the female end of another strap here. The male end, or in other words, the part like this with the holes in it, is missing for this area. So this front strap is to hold the hood down. We have it pushed forward because I'm going to show you where the battery lives. And there should be another strap here. Realistically, to do that thriftily, it's only going to take an extra large size man's belt, leather belt, through that, sewn through that loop like you see here. And then it just gets looped into that, what I'll call the female end of the belt on that side. So this cover here, you can see the fasteners here. It might look like it opens on both sides, but it only opens on the one side. Again, no engine up here, but I'll open this side for you. And you can see where we keep the battery. And I suppose we could make a case for there being a little bit of storage space in here as well. There's a jack. You can see the battery's disconnected right now. And there's a die-hard. As I say, the owners say they purchased that in 2023. However, it has sat, and they're going to replace it for the new owner, just to make things easier for the new owner and the sale process. You can see some fuses in here, and as well as some electrical back on the firewall. So I'll close that up. Tidy package here. And without this strap over the cover and the strap that's back here, this just opens freely. So at a minimum, I suppose you want to have this strap into place, covering that engine cover, so that I don't think there's much chance of it opening up while driving. However, safety first, it's probably good to have those straps in place. Moving to the interior, which will be a quick portion of the video because it is small. 2-seat bench. I suppose you could squeeze 3 adults or 3 people into it. That middle passenger would probably not be legal because there's no seatbelt for him or her. And they'd also have to straddle that Hurst shifter. Would you believe the car's got a Hurst shifter? You can see the Indy and H for Hurst emblems on the metal shaft of it. Wooden knob, wooden steering wheel as well. When the car was built, it looks like it used some, I'd say period seat belts, but I said the car was built in 1980. I would peg these seat belts more from the 70s, maybe even the late 60s. But GM standard issue, and they're functional. And we've got a wooden 3-spoke steering wheel, and you can see this steering column is not covered. It's exposed. You can see it turning as I turn the steering wheel. New instrumentation when the car was built in 1980, so not new today, but certainly newer than 1967, like the running gear by Volkswagen. There's a tach that maxes out at 6,000 RPM, an oil pressure gauge on the right, and an oil temp gauge on the left. Over here we've got a speedo maxing out at 120 miles an hour. I don't think you want to go quite that speed in this machine. Fuel gauge on the far right, labeled petrol, so that's kind of a nod to England, I would say, certainly Europe. And then an amp meter to the left of the speedometer. I'm going to move right in on that odometer, and I read it as 1639. So that odometer is labeled in miles, so under 1,700 miles, the owners believe, since it was built in 1980. So yeah, and there's that AM radio I mentioned. As I say, it powers up. Looks like it's missing a knob, but we didn't test it for a station. There's even a lighter there. We've not tested that for whether it works or not. And then a 4-speed manual, as you'd expect with the 67 VW running gear, and a handbrake lever just in front of that with a vinyl boot. It looks like, for some reason, they've got a block of wood on that clutch pedal. I'll ask about that, and we'll get in any answer I get on that into the detailed listing, again, for lot 258, the 1927 Bugatti Type 35 replica with 1967 Volkswagen running gear powertrain. Manual transmission, 4-speed, like you'd expect in a VW. This upholstery is a gray leather. It's getting warm because we're blessed with some beautiful weather here in the country. The car is just outside of Uxbridge. I'm not sure if we're going to have Uxbridge on the listing or the seller's residence in Newmarket, or not Newmarket, I'm sorry, Georgetown. We're close to Newmarket where we are now. But the car rests in Uxbridge, and that's likely where it's going to be picked up by its new owner, unless shipping arrangements are made. But the upholstery, the vinyl upholstery, quite presentable. I don't see any flaws. Forget about rips. I don't even see any discoloration. But a straight gray on that. I do notice some snaps here. I haven't even discovered these yet. But, oh, there's just some foam in there. The upholstery reminds me of what I might find in a boat. But it's perfectly suitable for this car, given that no doors, no roof. You want to be sure you've got something that's watertight, waterproof. I'm having trouble getting that snap back. Oh, there, I got it. So it's back on. So one more little walk around the car, and we'll move to some closing thoughts. So that boat tail, I mentioned earlier that the grille might be the pièce de résistance in terms of styling on the car, but maybe it's that boat tail that made the 27 Bugatti Type 35 famous. Both quite impressive features on the exterior, and that blue racing stripe also wakes it up. Again, all the venting on the side of the car you see toward the front is faux, given that the engine is in the rear. So there's a good look from the front. And we'll close this segment with my favorite driver's 1/4 view. So there's a good look at the Replica 1927 Bugatti Type 35. Again, it's running a VW engine and transmission out of a 1967 Beetle. So 1600cc engine with a 4-speed manual. It's got the exposed suspension, as you see here. and it's going to be lot 258 on collectorcarcanada.ca. Turquoise in color over a gray vinyl interior, which presents quite nicely. Among many other recent upgrades, it's got the new Bridgestone tires you can see here. But please do take a look at our detailed listing again, lot 258, for all of the mechanical work that's been done in the past couple years. Not so much to ready it for sale, but to keep it roadworthy. But as I say, the patriarch of the family who bought the car in 1986 is no longer driving. It's actually in the name of his daughter, who's here today, and she and her brother have decided to move it along to another enthusiast, and that's where we came in. So, a replica 1927 Bugatti Type 35 with a 1967 VW Beetle 1600cc engine and 4-speed manual transmission. Sounds every bit as air-cooled VW Beetle engine as you'd expect. Take a look at our demo videos on the detailed listing for lot 258, and you'll hear it both idling and under load. And I think that's going to about do it for our car review video for this car. Thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car.